طلاب وطلابات الصف السادس، أهلا بكم ودرس جديد من دروس اللغة الإنجليزية. Hello everybody, today let's start our session. We will continue Unit 7. Let's start now. We have here Unit 7, Lesson 3, 4, and 5. Let's start. Today we will listen to Angie's and Dalia's class presentation. What do you think the ancient Egyptians found around 7,000 years ago? We will choose then, listen and check. نسمع مع بعض كده. Angie and Dalia's presentation. What do you think, رأيك? Ancient Egyptians found around 7,000 years ago. لقوا ايه المصريين القدماء؟ من 7,000 سنة. Let's listen. Angie. Our classroom presentation is about trade in ancient Egypt. I am Angie and this is Dalia. The ancient Egyptians bought from and sold many things to different countries. This is called trading. Dalia, can you tell us what kinds of things the ancient Egyptians traded? احنا كده البرزنتيشن بتاعتنا عن التجارة trade in ancient Egypt في مصر القديمة. I am Angie and this is Dalia. The ancient Egyptians bought from and sold اشتروا وباعوا many things أشياء كتيرة to different countries العديد من البلاد. This is called trading وده بنسميه التجارة اللي هو buying and selling. Dalia, can you tell us what kinds of things the ancient Egyptians traded? ايه الحاجات اللي تاجر فيها المصريين القدماء؟ Okay, thanks Angie. Well, one of the most interesting things they traded with other countries was metal. The ancient Egyptians first found metal in rocks around thousands of years ago. They heated the rocks and took out the metal parts. They learned that metal was harder than stone and that they could melt and make different shapes with it. قالت لنا واحدة من الحاجات الشيقة جدا ان هم تاجروا في مع الدول الأخرى. اللي تاجروا فيها مع الدول الأخرى كان المعادن أو المعدن. The ancient Egyptian found metal لقوا المعادن in rocks في الصخور around thousands of years ago منذ آلاف السنين. They heated the rocks سخنوا أو الصخور and took out واستخرجوا منها the metal parts الأجزاء المعدنية. They learned that metal was harder than stone. تعلموا إن دايما المعدن أكثر صلابة من الأحجار. And they could melt قدروا طبعا إن هم يقوموا بصهر ده أو صهروا and make different shapes. وطبعا بعد انصهاره شكلوا منه حاجات عملوا منه أشكال كتير. Okay. Angie, that's fascinating. Dalia, thank you. What did they use metal for? يا ترى استخدموا الميتال المعدن لإيه؟ They used it to make tools and weapons so they could hunt on the land and grow things like food more easily. Gold was a popular metal for making jewelry and decoration. يبقى هنا هم استخدموه to make tools لعمل أدوات وأسلحة so they could hunt ممكن يصطادوا بيها على الأرض and grow things ممكن يزرعوا يعملوا أدوات زراعية like food more easily يزرعوا بيها الأكل بسهولة. Gold was popular metal. أيضا الذهب كان معدن مشهور جدا for making jewelry بيعمل بيه مجوهرات and decoration وطبعا للزينة. Silver was also used وأيضا استخدموا الفضة but was rare كانت أكثر طبعا بشكل نادر أكتر شوية كانتش بشكل كبير rarer. As art and culture were very important to ancient Egyptians, many of their craftsmen used different types of metal to make statues and sculptures to sell. برضو زي ما كان الفن والثقافة مهمين المصريين القدماء برضو many of their craftsmen بعض الحرفيين استخدموا أنواع مختلفة من المعادن to make statues، يعملوا تماثيل وتماثيل منحوتة طبعا، وبعض من الأشكال طبعا المنحوتة الأثرية. فهنا بقول that's right but they didn't just sell metal to other countries، ما باعوش المعدن ده بس لدول أخرى. they also bought some metals like silver، برضو اشتروا بعض المعادن زي الفضة، which they got through trade with countries، يعني جابوه من خلال التجارة مع دول أخرى. and as they trade more، وكل ما يتاجروا أكتر، this helped the ancient Egyptians develop their economy، ده ساعد إن إيه في تطوير الاقتصاد الخاص بيهم. until ancient Egypt was one of the strongest economies in the world، لحد ما أصبحت طبعا مصر القديمة هي أقوى اقتصاديات في العالم. هنا داليا yes you only need to look at the ancient Egyptians artifacts، كل محتاجين نبص على القطع الأثرية المصرية in museums today، في المتاحف الآن، to see that this is true، عشان نتأكد من صحة ده. هنلاقي ده طبعا في المتحف أو المتاحف المصرية. well that's the end of our presentation. does anyone have any question please؟ أي حد عنده سؤال؟ وبكده البرزنتيشن بتاعتها انتهت. لو حبينا نرجع تاني we have here we need do you think ancient Egyptians found around 7,000 years ago? Yes, we can say yes, they made tools, weapons, jewelry, statues, sculptures, and wheels from them amongst other things. So we can say that they made، قاموا بتصنيع أدوات، أسلحة، مجوهرات، تماثيل، عجلات from them، بين from amongst other things، من ضمن كل الأشياء دي. So we have here after we listen to the presentation we will complete the summary. We have here the ancient Egyptians traded with other countries and metal was one thing they traded. They first found metal. You can say they first found metal. And we have here space فراغ نبتدي نحط كلمة. So I'll give you time to think. So we have here they found metal in rocks. So number one, in. Metal was harder than stone. So number two, stone. Number three, and they could melt and form it into different shapes. Yes, they used, so number three, shapes. They used metal to make tools and weapons so that they could hunt. Number four, we hear hunt on the land. So number four, on the land. And grew food. Gold was a popular metal for making jewelry and art to sell. Silver was also used, but was rarer. Trade with other countries helped the ancient Egyptian economy to, so number five will be to grow. Okay, let's see the answers. So number one, in. Number two, stone. Number three, shapes. Number four, on. And number five, grow. Okay, let's move to another part. We have here match the words. You have here match. Before we do this, oh yes, we have this one. Match the words in bold in exercise 2 with the meaning below. احنا هنبتدي نعمل matching، نوصل معنى الكلمة from 1 to 4 to the other column with from A to D. Number one, we have here trade. Yes, trade means Yes. With letter C, trade means buying and selling things between countries. Buying and selling things between countries. Okay. So we have here number 2, metal. Metal means metal. Yes, with letter B, something like gold or iron that's harder and strong. So number 2 with letter B. With letter B. Number 3, weapon. Weapon. Yes, weapon. With letter D, an object used for fighting or hunting animals. So number 3 with letter D. Number 4, yes, with letter A, economy, the system of how a country's money and goods are produced and used. Okay, let's move to the answers. So number 1 with letter C, number 2 with letter B, number 3 with letter D, and number 4 with letter A. Let's move to another part. Okay, we have here prepositions. How to use prepositions? We use prepositions of place to say where things are. هنشوف حروف جر الخاصة بالمكان ونبتدي نتكلم عن كل واحد فيهم. We have here an example. The ancient Egyptians first found metal in the ground. يبقى هنا in في. The ancient Egyptians first found metal in the ground. Number 2, they could hunt and grow things on the land. They could hunt and grow things on the land. Number 3, we have here are some common prepositions of places. We have here, let's start. هنبدأ بحروف الجر اللي عندنا. Number 1, we have here, it's on the box. على. It's on the box. It's on the box. It's on the box. على الصندوق. It's in the box. In the box. In the box. في الصندوق. Then it's in front of the box. أمام. It's in front of the box. أمام. And then it's between the boxes. It's between the boxes. Then it's under the box. It's under the box. تحت الصندوق. It's next to the box. بجوار. It's next to the box. It's behind the box. It's behind the box. Let's say them. On. In front of, between, under, next to, behind. Let's move to another part. To practice prepositions of places, take a few small objects such as an eraser, a pencil, a book, arrange them on the desk, then ask a partner. فهنبتدي لو حبينا نلعب اللعبة دي ممكن نستخدم الاستيكة بتاعتنا أو القلم أو كتاب ونبتدي نحط كل حاجة حسب على في مكان. مثلا on the desk نحطها بقى في مكان ونبتدي نحدد where is the eraser. نبتدي نسأل بعضنا ونلعبها كلعبة. Okay, let's move to another part. We have here, we will complete the text using prepositions in box. We have here, هنكمل النص اللي قدامنا بحرف الجر المناسب. We have between, in, on, under. Let's start. We have here one of the most beautiful artifacts from ancient Egypt is Tutankhamun's mask, which was found, in his tomb. So number 1, in. The mask is gold with blue lines. Yes, between gold lines. Blue lines, so number 2 will be between gold lines. Under his chin is a thin beard. So, number 3, under. There is also a snake on the top of his head. On. So, number 4 is on the top of his head. احنا عندنا one of the most beautiful artifacts، واحدة من أجمل القطع الأثرية from ancient Egypt من مصر القديمة، هو قناع توت عنخ آمون which was found فين؟ in his tomb، في المقبرة بتاعته. The mask is gold، القناع ده ذهبي with blue lines، في خطوط زرقاء between gold lines، بين الخطوط الذهبية. Under his chin، تحت الدقن كده is his thin beard، هنا تحت هنا under his chin. Okay, there is a thin beard. Okay, there is also a snake. There's also a snake on the top of his head. On the top of his head. يبقى تحت كده لأن بتاعته the beard, there is also a snake on the top of his head. Let's move to another part. Here are the answers. Number 1, in. Number 2, between. Number 3, under. And number 4, on. Okay. Let's move to another part. We have here working bears talk about where things are in your school or classroom. يبقى هنبتدي نشوف أماكن الحاجات في الفصل بتاعنا. The whiteboard, for example, the whiteboard is under the clock. The library is next to the computer room. Okay, let's move now. We finished lesson 3. We have part 1 from lesson 3. Let's move to part 2. We have here, we will listen and read. What did the king Midas wish for? How did he feel about his wish at the end of the story? هنبتدي نشوف كده مع بعض قصة كينج ميداس and the golden touch. يا ترى ايه اللي حصل؟ Let's listen. Okay. Many years ago, there lived a king called King Midas. He loved 3 things more than anything else: his daughter Marigold, his rose garden, and gold. His favorite thing was spend time in his garden with Marigold, but he also liked to look at all the gold in his castle. من سنين كتير فاتت there lived a king called Midas. كان في ملك اسمه Midas. He loved 3 things. كان بيحب 3 حاجات more than anything else، عن أي حاجة في الدنيا. His daughter بنته Marigold, his rose garden حديقة الورد, and gold والذهب. His favorite thing was spend time. كان أفضل حاجة عنده أو أكتر حاجة بيفضلها إنه يقضي الوقت in his garden في الحديقة بتاعته مع بنته Marigold. But he also liked to look. كان بيحب look at all the gold. بيبص على كل الذهب in his castle في القلعة بتاعته. One night he was walking in his garden when he tripped over something on the ground. في يوم من الأيام كده أو ليلة من الليالي كان ماشي في الحديقة بتاعته زي ما رجله اتعثرت أو يعني زي ما يكون كان هيقع. Something on the ground، في حاجة في الأرض. It was a strange looking goat. كان شكل كده معزة شكلها غريب ونظرتها غريبة. It looked very sick. كان شكلها تعبان. King Midas was a kind man. كان راجل طيب. So he took the goat into his castle. خد المعزة في القلعة بتاعته. There he gave it food and warm bed. اداها أكل واداها مكان أو سرير دافئ إنها مكان تنام فيه. In the morning the goat felt much better. وفي الصباح طبعا المعزة أحست بتحسن، فهي بتقول له I would like to thank you King Midas. حابة أشكرك جدا. What would you like more than anything else in the world? تحب إيه؟ تحب أعمل لك إيه؟ عن أي حاجة في العالم تحبها أنا أعملها لك. King Midas thought for a minute، فكر كده دقيقة. Then he said I would like everything I touch to turn into gold. قال لها أي حاجة ألمسها تتحول لذهب. قالت okay said the goat. فقالت له هتحقق له أمنيته and make the king's wish come true. هتحقق الأمنية بتاعته، الحلم بتاعه هيبقى حقيقة. King Midas was very excited، كان عنده حماسة شديدة. After the goat left، وبعد ما سابته المعزة، he walked around the castle، راح يعمل جولة كده في القلعة بتاعته. When he touched the chair it turned into gold. It turned to gold. مجرد ما لمس الكرسي تحول لذهب. When he touched his bed it turned to gold. لما لمس السرير بتاعه برضه تحول لذهب. To celebrate he asked a special meal. قال لك بقى احتفل فطلب وجبة خاصة. But when he touched the food he couldn't eat. بمجرد ما لمس الأكل ما قدرش ياكل. ليه؟ Because it turned to gold. برضه اتحول لذهب. Then he went outside into the garden. خرج بقى الحديقة بتاعته بيدور على بنته to find Marigold. When he hugged her، بمجرد ما حضن بنته she also turned to gold. اتحولت لذهب. King Midas started crying. بدأ King Midas بيعيط. Please come back goat. I can't lose Marigold. فبينادي على الجوت المعزة، أنا مش قادر أفقد بنتي. طبعا اتحولت لذهب خلاص. His tears fell on his precious roses. الدموع نزلت على الورد. And they turned to gold. وتحولوا برضو لذهب الورد. But he didn't care about roses. ولا همه خالص الورد. Or gold anymore. أو أي ذهب في أي مكان. He just wanted to save his daughter. نفسه ينقذ بنته يرجعها تاني. The goat heard King Midas and returned to change everything back to how it was before. فلما هنا المعزة سمعت وشافت رجعت كل حاجة لأصلها تاني زي ما كانت. فابتدأ قال لها King Midas Thank you so much. I will never think gold is so important again. شكرها قال لها الذهب خلاص بالنسبة لي عمري ما أفكر أبدا في أهميته، ما يلزمنيش قصاد وجود بنتي معايا. Okay, let's move to here the answer. First we have here what did King Midas. كان عندنا سؤال فوق قبل ما نسمع الستوري بيقول لنا what did King Midas wish for. كان نفسه في إيه؟ How did he feel about his wish at the end of the story. وحس بإيه مع نهاية القصة مع الأمنية بتاعته. We can say he wished that everything he touched turned to gold. وفي الآخر القصة طبعا he felt bad لأن طبعا بنته كان هيفقدها. Okay, let's move to another part. Read again. We will answer these questions. Number 1, King Midas only loved gold. It's false. Let's move to number 2. King Midas helped the goat. Helped the goat? Yes, it's true. So number 2, true. Number 3, King Midas was sad when everything changed to gold. كان زعلان لما كل حاجة اتحولت لذهب. Yes. When everything? Yes. True. هو طبعا زعل أكتر حاجة لما بنته اتحولت turned to gold. Number 4, the goat didn't change Marigold back into human. هل الجوت ما رجعتش بنته تاني للإنسان تاني أو رجعتها لطبيعتها تاني؟ طبعا it's false. Okay, so number 2. So let's see the answers. Number 1, false. Number 2, true. Number 3, true. And number 4, false. Let's move to another part. We have here, we have read again. We read the story. Choose the moral. ايه القيمة الأخلاقية يا ترى اللي طلعنا بيها من الستوري دي؟ Let's read. هل هي It's good to have a lot of gold and be rich. Letter B. You will always get a reward if you are unkind. يبقى أول جملة هل كويس إن إحنا يبقى معانا ذهب كتير and be rich وإن إحنا نبقى أغنياء، ولا القيمة التانية ولا الاختيار التاني you will always get a reward هتاخد دايما جايزة if you are unkind لو كنت مش طيب أو كنت شرير، ولا your family is more important than money and material things إن العيلة أهم من الفلوس أو أي شيء. So the suitable answer الإجابة المناسبة yes letter C. Okay, let's move to another part. We have here pronunciation. Let's read. يلا نقرأ كده مع بعض. Look and say. نبص كده ونقول. Then listen and repeat. We have here, let's listen, let's repeat. Bear. Bear. Hair. Hair. 3. Share. Share. There. There. Bear. Hair. Share. There. Let's move to another part. We have here, look at the pictures and complete the sentences with the word in the box. Then listen, check and repeat. نبتدي نشوف كده، نبص للكلمات، نبص للصور ونكمل الجمل من الكلمات اللي فوق. Number 1, we have here that gemstone is very rare. It's not easy to find. Let's move to another one. Number 2, this, yes, what can you see? Yes, this pear looks delicious. This pear looks delicious. Pear, it will be pear. Number 3, there is a pair of brown shoes. So number 2 will be pair, P-E-A-R, and number 3 will be pair, P-A-I-R. Number 4, I like walking in the fresh, yes, in the fresh, yeah, air. Number 4 will be air. Number 5, don't pull that. You will, yes, tear it. You will tear it. Number 6, what do you want to, yes, wear today? What do you want to wear today? What do you want to wear? So the answers, rare, pair, air, tear, wear. Okay, let's move to the last part in our lesson for today. آخر جزء في درس النهاردة. Listen and write. We will listen and write. Let's listen. Number 1, it will be rare, rare. Number 2, wear, wear. Number 3, bear, bear. Number 4, air, air. Number 5, pear, pear. Number 6, hair, hair. Okay, let's move to the answers. Here are the answers. Okay. Now we finished lesson 3. Let's move to lesson 4. We have here a fact file. We will read the fact file. Why did ancient Egyptians called iron the metal of heaven? ليه المصريين القدماء سموا الحديد هو معدن السماء؟ Let's read. We have here iron in ancient Egypt. عندنا 4 أسئلة هنبتدي نقراها ونبتدي نشوف الإجابات ونشوف ليه. Why did ancient Egyptian called iron the metal of heaven? We have here, when did the ancient Egyptians start using iron? امتى المصريين القدماء بدأوا يستخدموا الحديد؟ The ancient Egyptians started using iron more than 5,000 years ago. Before iron, they worked with copper and bronze. المصريين القدماء started using iron بدأوا يستخدموا الحديد منذ أكثر من 5000 سنة. وقبل الحديد كانوا بيستخدموا بيستخدموا النحاس والبرونز. عندنا السؤال الثاني، where did they find iron؟ يا ترى لقوا الحديد ده فين؟ Amazingly, some of their early iron was for meteorites. Ancient Egyptian craftsmen made a famous dagger from Tutankhamun's tomb from a meteorite. يبقى يعني where did they found فين لقوا الحديد؟ طبعا some of their early iron أو الحديد لقوه from كانوا جاي من النيازك meteorites. Ancient Egyptian craftsmen والناس الحرفيين المصريين القدماء made a famous dagger عملوا خنجر مشهور جدا for Tutankhamun's tomb موجود في لمقبرة توت عنخ آمون from a meteorite من النيزك. They also mined iron from the ground جابوا حديد من تحت الأرض but they found it quite difficult. لقوا فيه صعوبة to use it because it needs a very hot fire. طبعا عشان يشكلوا محتاج نار عالية جدا to melt عشان يعمل انصهار which often wasn't possible وده ما كانش متاح بشكل كبير. السؤال الثالث عندنا why did they think iron was special؟ ليه كانوا بيعتقدوا ان الحديد ده حاجة خاصة؟ they thought iron was special because they believed it came from the sky. هم كانوا بيعتقدوا ان الحديد ده حاجة خاصة بيعتقد لانه ايه they believed بيعتقدوا ان هم ايه it came from the sky جاي من السماء. ليه؟ بسبب ايه؟ because of meteorites بسبب النيازك. they called it the metal of heaven معدن السماء. for them iron was more precious كان بالنسبة لهم الحديد ده ثمين أكتر من الذهب than gold because it was rarer لأنه كان نادر جدا. آخر سؤال عندنا في الجزئية دي what did they use iron for؟ استخدموا الحديد لإيه يا ترى؟ early on the ancient Egyptians used iron for small items. كانوا بيستخدموا الحديد لحاجات صغيرة like jewelry المجوهرات copper النحاس and bronze were common metal for tools. كان الأشهر هنا for tools للأدوات because they were easier to find. يعني الحاجات كانت الأشهر زي المجوهرات والنحاس والبرونز لأنه كان they were easier to find كان سهل يلاقيهم but later بعد كده iron agricultural tools الأدوات طبعا الزراعية بقت مصنوعة من الحديد and weapons والأسلحة began to appear بدأت تظهر. This was the result of the ancient Egyptians getting more iron وكانت سبب إن المصريين القدماء قدروا يحصلوا على كثير من الحديد إزاي through trade with other countries من خلال التجارة مع الدول الأخرى. Let's move to another part. We have here so why did the ancient Egyptians called iron ليه سموه the metal of heaven؟ Yes, they thought iron was special. قلنا إن هو بيعتقدوا إن حاجة خاصة because they believed it came from the sky. قالوا إن هو جاي من السماء because of meteorites. Okay, let's move to another part. We have here we read the fact file. We will answer these questions. Number 1, we have here what metals did the ancient Egyptians use before iron؟ يا ترى ايه المعادن اللي استخدموها قبل الحديد؟ Okay, we can say they used copper and bronze. They used copper and bronze. Number 2, When did they start using iron? يا ترى استخدموا الحديد امتى بدأوا يستخدموه؟ Yes. Number 2, they started using iron more than 5,000 years ago. Number 3, why was iron difficult to work with? ليه الصعوبة إن كانوا الحديد يقدروا يشتغلوا بيه؟ Yes, because it needed a very high heat to melt it. طبعا لأنه كان محتاج درجة حرارة عالية عشان يبتدي أو درجة حرارة عالية عشان يبتدوا يشكلوه. Number 4, what did ancient Egyptian craftsmen make for Tutankhamun's tomb using iron from a meteorite? يا ترى استخدموا إيه؟ عملوا إيه؟ Yes, they made a dagger. They made a dagger. Number 5, what helped the ancient Egyptian get more iron from agricultural tool and weapon? Yes. What helped اللي ساعدهم? Yes. Trade with other countries helped them. Okay, let's move to the answers. Here are the answers. So number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, number 5. Let's move to another part. We have here, we will look at the fact file template below, match the heading. هنبتدي نقارن كده العناوين اللي لايقة مع التفاصيل دي. We have letter A. We have number 1 first. They started using silver from around 4,500 years ago. We can say number 1 with letter yes, with letter C. نشوف كده. When did the ancient Egyptians start using silver? So the answer number 1 with letter C. Number 2, there were many silver mines in Egypt, so we think they brought it from other countries through trade. So number 2, the suitable letter will be A. Where did they find silver? Yes, we said number 1 with letter C. Yes, number 2 with letter A. Number 3, we have here, they used it to make jewelry and mirror. They also used sheet silver to decorate statues. So number 3 was letter yes, B. What did ancient Egyptian use silver for? It will be number 3 with letter D. Number 4, because silver is not very durable, sadly, the salt in the tombs destroyed a lot of it. We cannot see very much of it today. So number 4 with letter B. Why don't we find many silver ancient Egyptian artifacts? Let's move to another part. We have here are the answers. Number 1, letter C. Number 2, letter A. Number 3, letter D. And number 4, letter B. Here we will choose and research another metal or material from ancient Egyptian that interests you. Make notes under following. يبقى احنا هنختار معدن آخر من المصريين القدماء اهتموا بيه ونبدأ نعمل ملاحظاتنا برضو بنفس الطريقة اللي جت عليها السؤال أو عملنا فيها الدرس. When, why, where, and what. Okay, let's move to another part. We have here, write a fact file about your chosen metal or material. Use your note from exercise B and the fact file on page 14 to help you. يبقى احنا برضو هنختار برضو من خلال اللي شفناه في الجزء الخاص بالكلام عن iron in ancient Egypt. هنعمل بنفس المثال كده. Choose you choose a metal or material. قلنا بنختار معدن أو حاجة أو مادة. Use your note. نعمل ملاحظاتنا ونعمل بعض المعلومات عنها. We have number 6, work in pairs. Read each other's fact file. Did your partner. هنبتدي بقى نعمل تبادل للبيانات أو المعلومات الخاصة ببعض. نبتدي نشوف ال research facts الحقائق اللي طلعناها. use طبعا من خلال اللي احنا بنكتبه لازم use formal language and the past tense. احنا بنستخدم لغة رسمية ونستخدم زمن الماضي. use correct English. طبعا لازم السبيلنج صح. divide the text زي ما عملنا في الدرس كده. نقسم النص into questions الأسئلة. Then we have the last part. Tell your partner one thing you liked about their fact file. بعد ما خلصنا الجزء ده هنبتدي نشوف أكتر حاجة عجبتنا من الفاكت فايل أو بتاع كل حد فينا. one thing they could improve وحاجة ممكن يوضحوها أو يحسنوها أو لو في حاجة محتاجة تعديل. Okay, we finished lesson 4. Let's move to lesson 5. We have here work in groups of 3. Think and research. Look at the artifacts. هنبص على artifacts in the museum gallery. Then read the display board we have here for scarab amulet. You're going to make display board for other in the gallery. احنا من خلال ده هنبتدي نشوف القطع الأثرية الموجودة عندنا ونبتدي نشوف عندنا هنا read the display board for scarab amulet. نبتدي نشوف المعروض هنا قدامنا. هنشوف عندنا scarab amulet الجعران اللي عندنا ده أو التميمة دي. Okay. For the other artifacts we have here scarab amulet. The scarab amulet is from ancient Egypt. دي من مصر القديمة الجعران ده. And is more than 3000 years old. عمره أكتر من 3000 سنة. It's made of copper. مصنوع من النحاس. People wore كانوا بيلبسوه الناس with the image of scarab مع الصورة دي to protect them. كانوا بيعتقدوا إن هو هيحميهم and bring them good fortune ويجلب لهم الحظ السعيد. Okay. Let's move to another part. We have here so we can say we have here the canopic jar. لو كنا نبص كده canopic jar. It's from ancient Egypt. Early canopic jar were made from clay. Ancient Egyptians put these special jars in a box and then placed them in the tomb with the mummy. Then we have the ancient Egyptian papyrus. البردي was made around 2500 BCE 2500 سنة طبعا قبل ميلاد. It showed women playing والبردي ده بيورينا women playing harp. الحربة الهارب آلة الهارب harp اللي هي الآلة الموسيقية. A musical instrument. Papyrus breaks very easily, so this example is special because there are not many left today. فهو بيورينا ان بعض من الستات بيلعبوا او بيعزفوا على الهارب آلة موسيقية. Papyrus breaks. Papyrus ده كان ممكن breaks very easily. For example ده مثال because there is no many left. كان ده جزء منه ما عادش فيه papyrus بادئ او منه حاليا أو اللي باقي منه من التاريخ بعض القطع الصغيرة. This is crock, which was ancient Egyptian symbol. Ancient Egyptian symbol ده رمز مصري for power للقوة. It was usually held by a king along with flag. You can see them on Tutankhamun's mummy. This is from around 3150 BCE. Okay, let's move to another part. So we find out about the other artifacts. We spoke about them. Here are the artifacts. We chose an artifact to write about and we said and each group write about. احنا اتكلمنا عن بعض القطع الأثرية وتفاصيل خاصة بيها. Let's move to another part. Show your display board. لو احنا طبعا حد عمل بحث عن القطع الأثرية دي display your board on the classroom wall. لو احنا هنعمل بحث عن القطع الأثرية دي نبتدي نتكلم عنها walk around and read the display board زي ما عملنا كده في الجزء ده واتكلمنا عن القطعة الأثرية دي. and we have say which board would you like most وهنشوف كده ايه أكتر حاجة عجبتنا من القطعة الأثرية دي. Let's move to another part. We have here complete the sentences about the classroom. هنبتدي نشوف الجملة دي، الجمل من خلال الصورة دي نبتدي نشوف أماكن الأشياء اللي عندنا. We have here number 1, the board is under the clock. Let's move to another part. The books are, where are the books? Yes, the books are on the shelf, on the shelves. The books are on the shelves. Number 3, the calendar is, yes, the calendar is next to the board. Next to the board. Yes, number 3, next to. Number 4, the teacher's desk is, yes, between the board and the plant. So number 4, between. Number 5, the chair is, yes, behind the desk. The chair is behind the desk. Number